Hi, I'm Mike. Jonathan.
So, whenever someone has talked to you or a serious subject has come up, sometimes we tend to shy away from things unless they directly affect us. So, gentlemen, lady, I am Bobby and I am a criminal. Now, I know that may shock some of you, like, no, Bobby, what do you mean? And, honestly, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. I would honestly be willing to bet my next paycheck that all of you are criminals just like myself. Now, when most people think of criminal, they think of somebody that has been convicted of a crime. But the word criminal also has another definition. It's a person who has committed a crime. So if you've ever shoplifted, drank alcohol before the legal limit, if you have gotten into a physical fight, whether it was with a stranger, with a sibling, anything, even texting while you're driving, speeding, anything you've done to commit a crime classifies you as a criminal. So yay me, I get to keep my paycheck. So today we're going to talk about why I feel like all of us should get involved in the criminal justice reform. So since we've all established that we're all criminals, but I'm pretty sure none of us are convicted, we're going to put ourselves in someone's shoes that's a first-time offender. So before crime, you have elected officials who come up with these laws to protect the public. Then after the crime is where everybody kind of freaks out because you get lost in this flow chart and you have to deal with the 3 C's after crime, which consists of the cops, the courts, and corrections. And when you commit a crime and you deal with the cops, the first thing you think of is how much time am I going to go to jail? But sometimes you don't think about what comes after that. Now, I will say that as far as the corrections goes with 3 C's, they're doing better. According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, since 2010, there has been a decline on individuals in the prison system, whether they're on probation, parole, they're in prison, they're in jail. There has been a decline, but the decline isn't enough. It's not doing enough to keep everybody out of this system and out of the cycle of constantly dealing with the criminal justice system. So, what are we lacking? Honestly, we're lacking the representation and the interpretation. So, the practitioners that make up the criminal justice system, a lot of them don't seem to understand the power that they wield. A decision that someone I don't know and who doesn't know me makes decisions that could affect the rest of my life. I have people that are quote unquote representing me that don't have similar demographics. And when I say demographics, I don't mean that they don't look just like me, but they don't share any of the experiences that I've been through. So if you don't know me or anything about me or my experience, how are you fully able to represent me? And then the people that are representing don't always have the community ties that we want. If you are a part of a community that you're representing, you would take pride in that community and better represent it. Now, the level of experience, their compassion, and their awareness of the current laws all affect their interpretation and how they move forward and kind of affect the path that I have to go down now, because you made that decision. So there were 2 professors at George Mason University, Willis and Mastrosky, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, who wrote an article on improving policing, and I believe it applies to all practitioners. We need all of our practitioners to be honest, fair, hardworking, courteous, and obey the golden rule, which is treat others as you would want them to treat you. Okay, so let's take a look at those practitioners. The elected officials in office have the ability to make a certain crime a misdemeanor or a felony. They also set the mandatory minimums for the crimes that someone can commit. What you don't want from your elected official is someone that's unwavering in light of their mistakes. Like, For instance, in Texas, Rodney Reed is being sentenced to death for a crime they found out that he didn't commit, but he still had to die for something he didn't do. That's not right. And they did that in Texas because you're up for re-election, or you don't want to seem like you're not tough on crime, but you just executed an innocent man. That's not right. Our law enforcement, every time they're called, they make a decision. They assess the situation, they can give a warning, they can give a ticket, or they can arrest you. But with our law enforcement, we want them to be public servants, not crime fighters. If you have a crime fighter mentality, you go out there just like, our brothers in arms, when they're sent down range to fight, you're not fighting. You're supposed to be protecting the community. You're a public servant. Then the prosecutor. Prosecutor holds a lot of power. When a crime is committed, they choose if they want to try a case or if they want to just dismiss it altogether. So there can be charges, or you can be dismissed and you'll never arraign. Or they can go to trial, or they can do a plea bargain. Now, I personally want a prosecutor that is more worried about helping the public rather than focusing on a flawless record to say you got all of these convictions, you just ruined all of these people's lives when there could be another path. Going to jail isn't always the right answer to every crime. So what are some of the solutions? Well, it's pretty simple: education and engagement. So education, as far as the practitioners go, they should have mandatory trainings. That could be therapy, it could be annual trainings. Even we could develop new training programs that these practitioners could go through so that they're a better service to us. You should know your practitioners, because what you do has a ripple effect. If you don't know who you're voting for, or if you don't vote at all, then you have somebody in office that could appoint the prosecutor that just throws the book. And because prosecutors are involved with law enforcement, now the cops are sitting up here throwing the book, and they're super hard and they have no compassion, and that doesn't help anybody in the situation. And your taxpayer dollars, all of you pay taxes. You should find out what your money is going towards. No one wants to sit there and fund somebody in jail. That money could go to better schools, making our community look better. There are other ways we could be spending this money if we stop sending everybody to jail and throwing the book at them. So we've already said that we're all criminals, but we have the right to vote. So vote for the practitioners. Get involved in community programs so that we can get this reform going. And start the conversation. Even if you don't want to be a practitioner, you could inspire somebody else who is to make the right decision. So you all need to act. That's all I want you to do. Because at the end of the day, action changes things. Any questions?
I like the picture. Thank you.
Thank you.